Good guys. It's me, Captain's Orders TCG, and today I'm gonna be teaching y'all how to play Captain's Orders TCG. So let's get into it. Real quickly, something I didn't explain in the video was the field itself. I didn't set up like how the field worked and stuff. So right here you can see where pretty much everything goes. You've got your deck zone, you've got your graveyard, you got your actions and equipment, void, captain, and then minion zone. I realized that as I was making the video, so I real quickly made this just as like a visual guide just to show you where everything should go. If you're playing on untap, it's the only really two things you're gonna have to worry about is the minion zone, action zone, and then you put your captain to the side somewhere on there, and then the rest you can just use on untap, like the banish. You can use banish or slash void, and then the graveyard and deck you can use on there. Anyways, I just wanted to make sure. So let's go ahead and start off with part one. What is Captain's Orders? CO stands for Captain's Orders. It is a trading card game about using captains against your opponents to try and kill the other person's captain with minion cards, action cards, or equipment cards. And the game currently has a 5-turn setup. You have the draw phase, the setup phase, the battle phase, the after battle phase, and the end phase. Every deck must have a minimum of 30 to 40 cards in his or her deck. Here's some types of cards I'll put on screen. Okay. Okay, so part 2, how to play / battle. At the start of the game, you and your opponent will draw 5 cards, but before that, you will flip a coin or dice roll to see who goes first. Afterwards, you draw 5 cards. The person who's going first does not get the draw on their first turn. Both players start with 2 credits and do not gain credits till the beginning of turn 3. You can play cards by using credits you gain and matching the credit cost, or CR for example, with the amount of credits you have. For example, if I was playing a card that cost 2 credits, then I would need 2 credits to play that. Now let's move on to the different types of cards. There are currently in the game 4 different types of cards. There's minion cards, action cards, equipment cards, and captain cards. For now, we're going to be focusing on everything but captains for now. Minions can be played during your setup and after battle phase. They are your main way of damaging your opponent's captains and minions. There are 2 types of minions. Normal minions can be played with CR cost, and champion minions are a special type of minion that can only be summoned through different card effects or different combos. In a battle, you compare the point total of your opponent's minion's life to your minion's attack. Whoever has the higher amount wins a fight. If you play any other TCG, you should know how this works by now. It's pretty simple. Action cards can be played on either person's turn, acting as a response to your opponent's moves. Equipment can only be played during the setup phase and supply buffs to your minions and gives it an extra ability to use. So for example, on the screen, let's go ahead and put up something like Jade Spear, or Primordial Jade Spear, sorry. How it works is you have Erosion, and that's the sub ability, and anytime this minion attacks, it can pretty much bypass armor. So yeah. That's just for an example for the abilities. In order to win, you need to kill / force surrender your opponent's captain. To kill your opponent's captain, you have to reduce you have to reduce your captain's life to, or you have to reduce your opponent's captain's life to 0. Surrender, your opponent runs out of cards in their deck, which is basically milling their deck until everything's gone. You can gain credits through different ways, such as exile. You can send a card from your hand to the banished zone to gain 1 credit. Kills. Whenever you kill an opponent's minion, you gain 1 credit. And then you could also gain some through card effects, depending on what the card effect is. The other way I didn't mention here is you do gain 2 credits every turn until whoever wins the game. Every single time it's your turn. So that's just something I want to mention. I'll go on to some of the other stuff in just a moment. I do want to briefly explain captains, since I just realized I didn't explain that. Captains, basically what captains do, they are your main source of, like, consistent effects, pretty much. So you can use, so most captains have 2 to 3 abilities, and every captain, their abilities tie to different like play styles, different things. You have to read up on them. But you can only use one captain ability per turn. All right. So in this game, we have a really different battle system, and how this works is during the battle phase, when you kill an opponent's minion, instead of having to attack and kill every other minion on the field, you can immediately direct the rest of your minions to an attack, since that's basically breaking up a formation and like exploiting that formation pretty much, which is kind of the intended thing. And so you can choose to whether you want to attack the opponent's captain, or you can keep attacking minions to, you know, reduce the field, so then it's easier for you to get more damage on the opponent's captain on the next turn. So when you attack a minion in this game that has higher life than your attack, you pretty much do damage to their life, pretty much, or you do damage to their defense, or like points. Instead of straight up killing them. So you can kind of like weaken them over time. Finally, deck creation. Let's get into this. I will go ahead and list the requirements of pretty much how most decks are supposed to be set up. Minimum card limit you can have is 30 to 40 cards. You can play 3 copies of any card as long as it isn't on the ban list / limit list. If it's a semi-limited card, you can play up to 2 copies of it, and if it's the limited card, you can play up to 1 copy of it. Currently, as the time of making this video, there are no cards currently on the ban list, so you can play 3 copies of any card currently in your deck. You also have to select a captain. You have to also select 1 of 6 captains in the game to also play the game. I will go over what attributes do as well as the final thing. There should be a few cards pulled up on this video that should just teach you how status effects works. So how status effects work is basically every card in this game has a status, or most cards in this game will have status effects, and that's to the left of the ability box, where they'll list them off. So if a card says flying, for example, then it can only be attacked by cards that have flying or can hit, and can also hit flying. But it cannot protect its own captain as a trade-off to that rule. And then another example, armored, this card takes a point off an attack when it gets hit. Just for that attack, pretty much. It can't be hit by DOT as well, which is damage over time. Anyways, this is pretty much like this is kind of like a quick guide I made. If there's some things that aren't clear, this is supposed to just be a jumpstart guide to help you understand the game. If there's anything that isn't clear or you can't really learn the game through, you could always ask me in our Discord server for Captain's Orders, link down below in the description. Anyways, with that being said, that's Zero. I'm going to be signing off, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, like the video, help push it to the algorithm so I can get the game out to more people, and I guess that's it. See ya.